Killer Contractor is a Lifetime movie that just goes to prove why you should never trust contractors. We start off in this house with this old guy who hears a bump in the night, so he goes to check it out. As he moves down the hallway, the camera shows two screws sitting at the bottom of a railing, suggesting that it has been tampered with. The intruder watches the old man lean against the railing to peek downstairs, and it breaks, sending him crashing to his death. The intruder collects the loose screws and leaves as if their plan worked perfectly. A plan so specific that the killer must have known that this was a man who loved leaning against railings. We cut to our hot leading lady, Carrie, a divorced children's book author, who gets a call from police that her dad was killed by the staircase.
How?
She wasn't that close with her dad, so she doesn't really care that much. Carrie and her daughter Ella return to her hometown to attend her dad's funeral. A weirdo appears from behind the tree so that the movie can establish him as the villain. Carrie is told by the realtor that her dad's house needs some repairs before it can be sold on the market. She looks up at the broken railing where her dad fell, which for some reason contains crime scene tape, even though it's not the scene of a crime because the police ruled his death accidental. The weirdo from the cemetery shows up to the house wearing a full tool belt, I guess to show that he is a contractor, and asks if the house needs any work done, followed by a very awkward introduction.
Hi, Carrie McLeod.
Sorry, I just came from a job.
Oh, that's okay.
What the hell kind of job keeps you from shaking someone's hand? Is it crippled from wrenching all day, or is it just dirty? If so, why wouldn't you have washed your hands before you came over, or at the very least, used some Purell?
Just came from a job.
We find out that Carrie and the contractor went to high school together and that he was friends with her dad and would do jobs around the house for him. It doesn't really matter because the realtor tells Carrie not to worry about the repairs because she wants to buy the house.
I guess I won't need a contractor after all.
The contractor returns home where he lives with his mom because he is a loser. His mom orders him to give her all his money like an 8th grade bully.
That's it?
That's all I have.
He tells her he was going to do work on Carrie's house, but the damn realtor is going to buy it, so now he can't.
It's better that way, Michael. You need to not see her.
That night, the realtor celebrates becoming a new homeowner, but is killed off by an intruder in the coolest way possible. The contractor stalks Carrie outside her house while looking at old photos of her from high school, which includes a photo of him looking at her and a caption that makes very little sense. That isn't free period, that's just students walking through a hallway. And how exactly is she planning her future? Like a career and marriage? I think they mean making future plans, like for the weekend. Carrie calls the contractor to tell him that the realtor is dead and that she will need his help making the home repairs after all. Just then, a more attractive contractor named Jason shows up to the house and asks Carrie if she has any need for home repairs. She tells him that she has already hired somebody else and sends him away with a look of regret because unlike the other guy, this contractor doesn't totally creep her out. Feeling bad, she invites him in just to look around. He spots one of her children's books on a table and remarks how much his niece loves them, only to find out that Carrie is the author. He is the perfect man for her. Her daughter thinks so.
You should marry him.
Even her friend thinks so.
He's delicious.
The dreamy contractor pulls away, and what was a nice morning is suddenly destroyed by the arrival of this sad-looking human. The contractor tries to summon the courage to ask Carrie something, probably out on a date, which clearly her daughter, nor she, wants. But he chickens out. While retrieving something from the attic, Carrie's stunt double falls through the ceiling. Carrie is examined by a paramedic.
No sign of a concussion, which is good.
You know what else is good? The fact that she fell 20 feet landing on a hard wooden table directly on her side and didn't injure anything. The contractor stands back, and I'm not sure if he's supposed to look nervous or like he just pooped his pants and is embarrassed. Carrie asks whether or not the contractor noticed anything with the attic floorboards when he was up there earlier. Rather than simply saying no, he decides to yell at her instead.
Why don't you listen to me? Why doesn't anyone listen to me?
And excuses himself before he does anything he regrets. Carrie bumps into Jason and hires him as her new contractor because the other guy should be in the insane asylum. But when she wakes up the next morning, the lunatic is already in her house, frowning as usual. She calls Jason to hurry up and get there because this guy clearly can't get the hint that he's not wanted. And then makes things worse by asking really weird questions.
Did William read to you when you were younger?
Did he tuck you in? Did he tuck you in and kiss you goodnight?
What?
Carrie escapes to the kitchen to make breakfast, but the contractor is soon right in her face again and drops a bombshell.
I'm your brother!
Jason shows up just in time to kick him out of the house. A claims adjuster shows up to talk about her father's life insurance policy and inspect the scene of his mishap.
Was anyone here in the afternoon the day he died?
The contractor might have been.
The contractor. The one who repaired the banister.
Which are all questions the police should have asked, and if they did, they might have suspected foul play instead of instantly ruling it an accident. Carrie, Jason, and Ella make a pie, completely ignoring the fact that the psycho contractor just said he was Carrie's brother. She goes to preheat the oven and a giant fireball explodes right into her. Once again, she's completely fine except for a bruised elbow. Carrie talks with her dad's attorney, who informs her that before she was born, her dad and the contractor's mom had an affair, and that not only is the contractor her half-brother, but he was put in her dad's will to receive half the inheritance. Until recently, when the dad decided to give Carrie everything. Ella lies on her bed, too distracted by a stupid YouTube video about braiding hair to notice that the ceiling fan above her is spinning out of control. Her ninja reflexes kick in, and she moves just in time for her stuffed elephant to get beheaded, which no one ever acknowledges or addresses. Seriously, how sharp are the blades on that ceiling fan? They call the police to report all the incidents around the house lately and their suspicions about the contractor. Carrie's friend spots the contractor on the street and decides to follow him. Meanwhile, Carrie meets with the detective and insurance adjuster for a brainstorming session. They discuss that there was definitely foul play involved in her dad's death, and that the contractor has motive to kill her in order to claim his share of the inheritance, which the audience already figured out 8 minutes ago when we discovered he was her brother. The contractor returns home and finds his mom burning a box of photos that belong to him. He storms off and she chases after him, giving the friend time to sneak in and learn absolutely nothing important. A hammer whacks her in the head, and the movie reveals that the contractor's mom is the bad guy. She calls her accomplice with the friend's cell phone, which is a very idiotic thing to do. But who cares? Because we're about to watch the biggest twist of the movie.
We got a wrinkle.
What kind of wrinkle?
The friend is now tied up out in the open where anyone walking by could easily see her, and overhears Jason and the contractor's mom conveniently reiterating their entire plan.
You hired me to take out the old man and then you added a real estate agent. I agreed to scare a couple of women into dumping a house, not kill them.
The friend breaks free from her constraint and runs for help. She flags down 2 background actors who aren't allowed to speak, so they lazily point to something behind her instead. The friend is smashed by a driver who says she came out of nowhere, even though everyone saw her running down the middle of the road. The friend is transported to the hospital, which just so happens to be the same hospital where the contractor's mom works. The mom calls a coworker at the hospital and finds out that the friend was brought there and going to pull through. Jason tucks Carrie into bed and discreetly steals her phone. However, he gets caught in his own lie.
Yeah, I bet your siblings aren't as crazy as mine.
Luckily, I'm an only child.
How do you have a niece? The one I signed the book for?
But he's as quick-witted as he is handsome and comes up with the perfect explanation.
Stephanie is my stepbrother's daughter. My mom remarried.
Jason locks Carrie and Ella in their bedrooms, which he can do because for some reason, the bedroom doors lock from the outside. There's no way a cut of Carrie's dad's life insurance money is worth all the murdering this guy is doing. The contractor returns home where he has a huge fight with his mom, and she admits that she is the one behind trying to kill off Carrie and Ella so they can get the inheritance. Smoke begins to filter through the air vents, but Carrie and Ella are locked in their rooms, even though you can see a turn lock on the doorknob as Carrie tries twisting it. What bedroom door has a turn lock on both sides? And at no point does either character ever try and cover their mouths. Carrie bashes the shit out of the door with a golf club and lets herself out. She opens her daughter's door, who still isn't shielding her face from the gas, even though she has been screaming that she can't breathe for the last 40 seconds. They get to the front door, but it won't open. Rather than unlocking the door, Carrie decides to whack it with the golf club. The contractor shows up to the house to save Carrie and Ella, but she doesn't trust him, so she runs to another door, where once again she lets the bashing begin. Carrie and Ella escape, and there's a standoff.
It was you, wasn't it? You did the doors, you did the windows. It was you!
Why couldn't you just make this easy and just die?
The contractor steps in to protect his sister, but gets hit in the face with a pipe wrench and is of no use whatsoever. Until 50 seconds later, when he shows up out of nowhere to save the day.
Nobody messes with my family.
The contractor's crazy mom goes to the hospital to kill the friend before she can rat her out. But a police officer intervenes just in time and arrests her. We cut to the end where everyone is now really happy, even though his mom will probably be going to prison for the rest of her life. The first man Carrie fell for since her lying, cheating husband left her turned out to be a killer, and with the exception of the contractor, each person here was almost murdered. But none of that matters because look how cute their new dog is.